What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is when sorry, Thursday, December 19th, 2024. My name is Chris Drummond. I'm a freelance sports reporter based out of Minneapolis here. And I am a proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's going to be coming on with me today. She is homegrown from the Minnesota State area. Her name is Laura Lee. She's been an anchor and reporter for over 15 plus years in this industry. She has worked at ABC6 Rochester, Minnesota here for the past 13 years and now has transitioned to Duluth, Minnesota, where she's on Northern News Now. She also worked at KTSP in the Twin Cities in production. So we're going to talk to her about her why, get to know her a little bit. Without any further ado, I introduce you the wonderful, talented, and the beautiful Laura Lee. Hello there. Good morning.
Hello, does it finally work? Oh my gosh.
It does. I see your face. You look absolutely lovely today. Volume's a
Oh,
little low, but I see. I definitely see you.
okay, so let me fix the audio real quick. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
A little bit better.
Okay. I could just project my voice. I feel like I'm at like pretty much max. I don't know what is going on with my computer. Typically, I don't have these all of these issues that when I do Zoom calls, and I do Zooms all the time.
That's okay. Is there like a button at the bottom that allows you to turn up your volume?
I feel like I'm at max audio. Hold on.
Mm,
Am I
okay.
really, really quiet?
No, I can sort of hear you. I sort of hear. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you very clearly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You know what? We'll work with it. That's okay.
Okay.
We are going to work with it. We're gonna make this
Okay,
work.
I apologize. I have no idea why my computer is so annoying right now. I have no idea what's going
That
on.
is totally okay. Like I said, Laura, you look absolutely lovely today. Thank you.
Oh, thank
Uh,
you. Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
no, thank you. I appreciate it. I want to ask you, how's your week going so far?
It's good. It's very busy. Obviously, we're getting ready for the holiday winter break. And so it's just been one day after another of just when in news too. Every day is different and every day is busy. So yeah, this week has been going good. It's moving fast, that's for sure. I can't even believe it's already Thursday.
Yeah, I understand that. I definitely do. As a reporter, obviously, busy weeks happen all the time. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Especially around
Yeah.
the holidays. So
Oh yeah, yeah, and with everyone's schedule too. I'm off tomorrow through almost New Year's. So to try to get everything done before I'm off is a lot of work to do too. So
absolutely. I want to reiterate to you why I wanted to have you on here. I know you've been a reporter slash anchor for the past decade and a half. I know you worked at
hmm
ABC6 Rochester for the past 13 years. I know you also worked in the Twin Cities doing production as well. You're at Northern
hmm
News Now, which is that beautiful sign right behind you. So I do love talking to journalists about their why and getting to know them outside of their occupation. I think everybody has a story to tell. Your story is just as special as anyone else's, and I would love to hear it. We're so used, Laura, to getting the stories that we don't get a chance to sit down and talk about our story. Um, you had a few stories that really touched me. I did a little bit of research. The one you did about the pregnancy with the mom and baby and the donor, I thought that was wow. I thought that was a really good story. Um, the one about your scholarship, which we're gonna get into, that one was that touched me pretty hard because man, just the way your emotions came over you in that, and me too, because I thought that was just amazing. So you do amazing work, and I'm really
Thank
blessed to
you.
be talking to you today.
Oh wow, thank you, Chris. That means a lot. I really appreciate that. Right now, when you think about a career, you know that It's everyone, you're right, you're absolutely right. And when I tell reporters, and as part of the transition of being in the business this long, when you have young reporters, you become a mentor. And so sharing your story with them and letting them know how you got to where you are, it's so important. And you're right, everyone does have a story. Um, yeah, I mean, if it really, my story is really simple.
Hmm.
I grew up in, inner city public schools.
Hmm.
My parents were immigrants. They came here hoping to provide a better life for their children. And and my parents are remarkable because they didn't speak a lot of English. They barely had any education. My mom had no education. My dad had what would be equivalent to a high school diploma,
Sure.
maybe 2-year college degree equivalent to that. And he really busted his butt. He worked so hard to get to get the American education and the American dream. So while raising 4 kids, they started to learn English with all of us, and knew that education was the key to success in this country. And if you wanted a career, if you wanted that American dream of buying your home someday, you needed a job that was going to sustain that. And so my
Sure.
parents really pushed education on all of us. And growing up Hmong in the Twin Cities, we kept our heads down. We lived very modestly. Um, but I never once felt like I was living less than to anybody else. My parents just knew how to balance that, where we were living off of, government assistance, but we never felt like we were poor, you know?
Absolutely.
And yeah, they just showered us with so much love and support. And so we really just devoted ourselves to education. And when I got older, I knew I wanted to be a writer. Like I always knew I wanted to write, whether it was going to be an author or a
Mhm.
reporter for the Star Tribune in the Twin Cities. I dreamt of being a Star Tribune reporter. So when I got to high school, I started writing for the school paper, and
Mhm.
some of my teachers were like, you're good at this, you should really pursue it. And so anytime, teachers get any kind of opportunity that comes across their desk, um, and they have students that are passionate about something, they always introduce those things to students. And I went to Patrick Henry, on the north side of Minneapolis. So I grew up in the north side, Minneapolis, and
Yeah.
they were like, Laura, we think this is going to be great for you. You're so passionate about writing. How about you try this program? And I was like, yeah, I'll take any opportunity. So I wrote for the school paper, and then I started writing for the Star Tribune with this summer program, which was amazing to be sitting at one of their editorial meetings. Um, and then there was an opportunity to do a 2-week program at St. Thomas. And talk about a young girl who was like, there's no way I could ever afford St. Thomas, let alone go there. Um, but I wanted this opportunity to work alongside real journalists in the Twin Cities. And
Yeah.
it was just a fun summer experience. Instead of sitting at home, I'm like, I might as well go stay on campus and learn from these guys. So I applied for it, and I wrote my essays. I mean, I think the moment the enrollment or opportunity opened, my admission application was like probably sent in the next day.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah, I was so determined to get a spot, because only 14 kids in the Twin Cities could get a spot. Um, and so I had my teachers help me, write recommendation letters. I like literally sent in my application the next day. And then once the window closed, and a few weeks later, I found out I got in. That experience changed my life. 360 Journalism was a great program in the Twin Cities. It really allows minority students an opportunity for a seat at the table to be able to do some
Mhm.
of the work that we all do and love. And so then, yeah, when I did that experience, at the end of that 2-week experience, all of a sudden, um, St. Thomas was like, we have an opportunity for a full ride. And me, I was like, I'm gonna just take my
Absolutely. You
opportunity.
jumping at it
Yeah, the only things you don't get in life are the only opportunities you don't get in life, and you've probably heard this too, are the ones you don't take. And
without
so,
question.
yeah, and so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna give it a try, because what do I have to lose? I'm one of 14 people in this program who's got a shot at a full ride scholarship. And I kept thinking, like, it wasn't just a decision for me. Obviously, it would have been a dream for me, but it would have been so helpful one less stress for my parents, to have to put another kid through college. And so I applied for it, and I still remember that phone call to this day. It was probably like 9 o'clock at night, and because they assigned us to a journalist. So as a student at the program, they assigned us to a journalist. And I remember my journalist was a reporter for the Star Tribune. Her name was Delma Francis. And she called me that night. So she was the one that broke the news to me and said, "Baby girl, you did it." And I just like screamed. I was like
I love
crying.
it. That's amazing.
I was crying and screaming, and I literally ran out of my bedroom, and my parents were like, "What is going on?" And I just started crying, and I said, "I got it. I can't believe I got it." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" And I just kept crying. I couldn't even speak. I was like, "I got it. I got the scholarship. I'm going to St. Thomas for free." And my parents were like, they were like just as shocked as I was. They're like, "What? Like, how did this happen? What's going on?" And I explained everything to them, and they were just, I mean, they were so excited. We were all so excited. And again, it was a gift. It was a gift to me. It was a gift to them, because it was now one less stress that they had to worry about, because it was going to be taking out loans and paying for my college just like my sisters, and brothers. So it was a gift. And that, ever since I did that experience, I mean, from that moment on, like doors just started opening for me. And so I owe my career, a huge part of my career to that program and these journalists taking a chance on me.
I love it. That's a great start. Great start to this podcast for sure. I mean, like I said, I was really touched by the video that I seen. I seen your reel as well that you did back in 2020. I also seen a funny video where I seen you kiss a llama. I was like, wow, okay, that's bold. That is bold. But your partner in crime was even more bolder. He was like caressing the sheep and everything, like just like working the sheep down. And he was like just really, he was seemed like he was into it. I was like, oh, okay. It's for
Yeah.
charity. It's for charity, so that's cool. I'm with it. But no, it's amazing to hear stories like that. It really goes to show, like you said, opportunities that was given, but it also shows your hard work as well, right? Only 14 people
Oh,
were able to get this spot, and you were able to do the necessary things you needed to do to be able to get that scholarship. And it just kudos to you, and obviously the rest of the people that got it. But man, Laura, I mean, that's just an amazing, amazing feat to start off for sure.
you.
Um,
Thank you. Thank you.
you're very welcome. And great segue, because now I want to ask you about University of St. Thomas. Were there any other schools that you considered going to? I mean, obviously you're Minnesota homegrown, so you know about U of M, and you
Yeah.
know about the other schools here. Were there any other schools that you possibly wanted to go to? Maybe get out of Minneapolis.
Absolutely. I wanted to try UCLA. I wanted to go West Coast. I
Mm,
wanted to also try, U of M was definitely up there as well. But what I learned along the way, and what everyone learns along the way about themselves, is your learning style, right? Sometimes you thrive in a large setting. Sometimes you thrive in a more private setting. And I remember when I was in high school, you mentioned working hard. I was literally always in my studies. I mean, my parents were pretty, we grew up in a pretty strict household where it wasn't, they knew that education was important. So we were very focused on our education. And, and I realized that I was very much a people person. Like I loved one-on-ones. I loved understanding how people think and and I love hearing their stories. So classrooms that allowed that interactive setting I thrived in. Classes where you sat and teachers lectured, I did it because that was the way that I had to do it to learn. But the classes where they allowed us to have conversations and to work together and to process things together and to kind of bounce ideas off of each other, like I love those classes. So I started to realize like early on, I wanted a smaller size classroom for college. I wanted a
sure.
smaller college student body. And so while I wanted the U of M because of its prestige and its journalism program was amazing, I realized like maybe I wanted the smaller colleges, something a little bit more intimate. And so St. Thomas stood out. St. Scholastica stood out in up here in Duluth. I looked
Yep.
at St. Kate's. And then I also looked at, like I said, big major colleges and universities like UCLA, U of M, and whatnot. Um, yeah, and then I realized at the end of the day, I wanted a smaller setting. I just felt like that would be more the style that I wanted for education, for learning for me. And
I
so
love it.
that was the path I took.
I love that. It's funny that you said that because I got my undergrad at Kennesaw State University,
Uh-huh.
which is in Atlanta, Georgia, where some of my family still reside. But I was looking at UGA, and anybody knows
Mhm.
the University of Georgia is a very big school, and they have a great journalism program. It's called the Grady School down there. So
Yeah.
I was looking at different bigger schools, but Kennesaw State financially was better, one, and then
Mhm.
two, they were a smaller setting. You got smaller classes, and they kind of, most of the times when you go to those big schools, you got like 90 to 120 kids in the class sometimes, and that's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot for a major class. So we had like 20 to 30. So
Mm-hmm.
it's better fitting for me, easier to pay attention, not drift off because I was not as studious. I would not lie to you at all. I was much more of a party goer in college. I had a lot of fun, but eventually I had to turn that around and get a little bit more serious. So, but yes, I can totally relate when you say smaller setting, more
Yeah.
focused, more defined, easier access to teachers and different things like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And speaking of partying, I mean that's what you should do in college. I was probably
Mm.
so lame, so so focused on learning. I mean, you know, it's one of those things where that's what I encourage young people to do those things because you do some self-discovery in those early years in college as well.
Absolutely. I also substitute teach, Laura, as well.
Wow.
Yeah, so I substitute teach. I'm a freelance journalist, and I work in sales. So I do many different things because I like to do
Yeah.
different. I'm also getting my master's in professional writing because I want to be able to teach like full time at some point.
I
And
love that.
oh, well, thank you very much.
Congratulations. Yeah. I could see that
Thank you.
about you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I love being mentorship.
Hmm.
Covering a little bit of background on me before I ask you the next question. So I've been doing journalism for the past 6 years, going on year seven. I started in Atlanta, Georgia. When I was
Hmm.
in school, I reached out to different publications. I was working for my school magazine at the time. I reached out to different publications, and two of them responded to me, and then one of them I ended up working for, and then I worked for another one covering football, basketball, baseball, and lacrosse. I would go Friday nights or Tuesday, Fridays, whenever they have games, and cover the games and start building up kind of a beat in a portfolio. Then I graduated from college, transitioned over here to Minnesota, to where I got my first full time job at the Marshall Independent. I was working there covering 12 high schools and a college. I loved doing what I do, writing feature stories, section championships. Sports was my thing. I wanted
Love
to
it.
do something. Thank you so much. I transitioned out of that though in year two, or after year two a little bit, because I wanted to do more professional sport. I wanted to build my portfolio. Felt like I've done enough feature stories and colleges, and I want to kind of build it up a little bit. There was also an incident that happened, and I'll share this with you, Laura. I went into the office, and I talked to my EIC at the time, and I was very professional with it. I said, "Sir, I feel like I've kind of outworked what you guys are paying me right now, and I would like to have a little bit of an increase because I feel like the workload that you're giving me has increased from year one to year two. It's increased, like you're adding more of a workload on me, which is no problem at all. I appreciate that. I appreciate the confidence you have in me, but I also want to be able to be compensated as well at some point." Um, so what they said, Laura, was you're below average. And
Wow.
yeah, so when they said that, now mind you, let me put context on this. This publication I worked at, I was the only African American that worked there ever. There was never anybody ethnic that worked there besides me. So I was like, okay. So my immediate response was shock, of course, because I haven't heard anything like that in my first 24 months there. So then I was like, so what can I do to improve my performance so that way I wouldn't be below average? What kind of things can I
Mhm.
do? And that's the kind of response that I had. Well, they said after that, we don't have the necessary tools to help you improve. So
Just-
when go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I said that's interesting, and I love the way you approached it professionally like that. But that's an interesting response that they gave
Yeah,
you.
yeah, right. So my thing was, Laura, after that, I just said, okay, I appreciate what you're saying, sir. Um, thank you for your time. So I walked out of the room knowing that that would probably be one of the last times that I would be there in that office because I
Good,
had to figure that it was time for me to go because
good for
I've
you.
never had hierarchy talk like that at any kind of job. I mean, any kind of job
Yeah.
that you're trying to improve and go somewhere, you never want somebody to say that. And then my thing was, you didn't say it before, but you're saying it now. So that just tells me you do not want to pay me. You don't want to pay me like that. Which again, that's speculation. I can't 100% say that that was the case, but when you put two and two together, they say either 22 or they add up to four. So one of them is
Mhm.
going to happen. So that happened, and then I had to transition to freelance. So I've been covering different local high schools and colleges since then, and I also did the Minnesota Lynx finals. I'm going to be doing the PWHL game tonight there at the XL Energy Center. And
Awesome.
yeah, so I'm starting to cover pro, and eventually I'll continue to move up. But I had to transition out and do my own thing and take a chance on me.
I love that. And good for you to know you're worth enough to walk away when you know you need to walk away. I think one of the biggest things, and like you, sometimes when we're minorities entering a business that's maybe predominantly not minority, um, it's important to have our voices in a newsroom because we reflect the communities we work for. And
Mhm.
so to have someone say that to you, and when you said Marshall Independent, I could imagine the demographic in that community. So to know that you broke into that community and by being different, by bringing a different set of eyes to that paper, good for you. And then to have it be then not seen as something as valuable as it should have been seen as that's just a loss to the paper. That's a loss to that organization. Um, so, and to know that you can break out and still succeed and do it on your own, good for you. You should be very proud of that. I've had many experiences where along the way when I early on in my career where I was getting my foot in the door and I was told I didn't look the part. And then when I said, "What does that mean?" They're like, "Oh, we need someone who's blonde hair and blue-eyed up here." And I'm
Right,
like, well, I'm definitely not blonde hair, blue eyed.
right,
So,
right.
I know I'm more qualified. I'm qualified for this job.
Sure,
Um, but if I'm being, if my merits are being based on how I look, then I guess I'm not going to be the one you want because you've already have
absolutely.
you have your mindset on a person with certain characteristics and
Mhm.
certain skin color that you're looking for. I'm not that person, obviously, which is kind of a blessing in disguise because while you may take it as a blow at that moment, it's also a blessing in disguise because you know that you were meant to go down a different path.
Absolutely. The Lord guided me and said, you know what, Chris, this is not for you. This is just a kind of a pit stop. And, Laura, if I was in my 20s, I'm no longer in my 20s, I'm in my 30s now. So, and the reason why I say that is because, when you get older, you get more sure about yourself.
Oh,
Um,
100%,
Life
100%.
seems to slow down a little bit. You start making just better decisions, being around better people. And you don't really hesitate on things that seem a little fishy, that seem a little odd. You have to question a lot of things. But the confidence is there. Is what the main thing is. In your early 20s, you're on go, go, go mode. You're in prove it mode. You want to do everything.
Hmm.
Okay, somebody said something to you, you might think about it, but you might not question it. You know what I mean? So you just get more confident in age. And I love being this age. People ask me all the time, especially my boys and girls that I substitute teach in high school. They's like, "You old," and I was like, "Oh, okay, okay. I love being this age. I love being this. You will too. Once you get
You're
there, you will too."
You are so young, and it's funny how you're like, I'm old. It's funny because we all have been there, and I think with the sayings of being confident in your own skin, I think that all derives from the fact that we're all sure of the things we want and the things we don't want. So
Mhm.
then you can start to kind of anything that doesn't fit within what you want for yourself just falls away at the wayside. And so
Absolutely.
in these years of our career and our lives, we start to separate those things.
Yep.
And you're right. In our 20s, it's more about like, what do I want? You're
Mhm.
discovering what you want. In your
Right.
30s, you're kind of like, I know what I want. If that's not falling within what I want, bye.
Right.
And you're right. Whether it's students in a classroom or young reporters in a newsroom, we're the OGs, we're the old ones.
We are, right? We are, seriously. And I love it. I love it. I wouldn't trade it. I think that
No.
the mentorship and paying it forward and being able to give great knowledge and advice is always key, right? Because you definitely want to pay it forward to the next ones that's coming up for sure.
Oh, for sure, for
I,
sure.
I want to ask you some favorite questions, Laura, and you
Yeah.
just give me the 411 off these favorite questions that I'm about to ask you. Okay, so here we
Oh,
go.
okay.
Favorite meal you like to cook?
Oh my goodness, I love cooking.
Mm,
Oh God, it all depends on like the genre of types of food. So like if it's Asian cooking, I
mm,
love it's kind of called like it's called orange basil beef. I know it sounds really weird, but it's just thinly sliced beef and you kind of
yeah,
pan fry it in a skillet and
that
then
sounds delicious.
yeah, and then I add
Mhm.
a little bit of like fresh orange juice to it because it gives it a nice flavor, and then tons of basil. And then it's just they're kind of like stir fried, and then you add a little bit of a cornstarch slurry, and you have a sticky rice, really sticky rice, and you were able to like eat it together. I know it's weird to eat with your hands, but in a lot of Asian cooking, we eat with our hands, and so that's one of my favorite dishes. My kids absolutely love that dish. When it comes to like American dishes, I also like making egg rolls. I feel like egg rolls, no matter where I go, if I make
Yeah,
egg rolls, it's like a hit. And I think it's a communal dish. In Hmong cooking, we feed each other around a table. It's more communal. And I feel like egg rolls do that. It brings everyone together to kind of be a part of the rolling, the frying, the eating. So that's fun. And then like American made dishes, I'd say making ribs or steak is something I love to do. Um,
mm,
because I love it too. I'm a foodie. I
mm.
love to eat. And
Me too.
so
Me too. Okay, man.
but then like Italian, I like to make Tuscan chicken. Yeah, like a creamy Tuscan sun-dried tomato sauce. So yeah, I love all sorts of things, but um I love cooking. So yeah.
Feel that. I love that. Now, I'm just gonna say this. I'm a huge taco lover. I love making tacos. That's my
Yeah.
favorite dish. And I'm also going to introduce myself to you. I'm Chris. So anytime that you feel like you want to make those dishes and I'm in that area, please don't hesitate to hit me up.
Okay.
I would definitely do that. I love those dishes for sure. I know you got a
Sounds
lot of
good.
house to
Well,
feed, but I'm just saying if you
I'll
do,
trade some egg rolls for your tacos. Let's do that.
let's do it. I'm with you on that. Absolutely. Okay, that's what's up. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
Oh God, let's see. I would say, so I'm again pretty lame. I love music, but I haven't gone to a lot of concerts. I would say one of my favorites, well, Beyonce's was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I also really like Sublime. That was an outdoor concert and
Wow.
it was a huge field. And I think when you have an outdoor concert that has a huge field and lots of like food trucks and drink trucks and all that stuff, it's like you move around the place and then you listen to music and you're vibing with your friends and things like that. And so that was a memorable one. And then we got like at the end of the night, it was like pouring rain. So we made the best of it in our on the bus to our campsite. Everyone started singing, and so we were all like soaking wet, but we all started singing on this bus back to our campsite, and it was just memorable. It was fun.
Yeah, you took me back with Sublime. That took me back to my I was like, okay, Sublime. The song I knew of them was I think it was called What I Got.
Yeah.
Uh that's the song I knew of them because I was a Blink 182 fan. Uh
Okay, yeah.
that's my group. My favorite concert probably because I'm a huge R&B person is
Yeah.
Alicia
Is
Keys.
what? Oh,
Alicia
oh my
Keys.
God, amazing.
Mhm. Mhm. She's
She's, I
definitely
mean, gorgeous voice, so talented, soulful. I mean, it would have been amazing to see her in concert for sure.
absolutely. I had a chance to do Beyonce's concert 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah, in Atlanta, Georgia, when I was out there, I used to work at event security.
Mhm.
Well, I used to do different venues to where we would go. Some like what Minneapolis may do if you go to a venue. Maybe if you ever heard of CSP or different things like event security where they'll check your
Okay.
tickets in and check stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did that in Atlanta, Georgia. Beyonce came to one of the shows. I met her security because I was at the stage, and
Hmm.
her security was so big. I was like, he was tall. I was like, I was not worried at all. I'm like, him and I, we good together. We are a great tag team. Nobody's coming on this stage. That's for sure.
Good. She's in good hands then, yeah.
Was she was perfect hands. That's what's up. I like that though. Favorite place, Laura, that you ever traveled to?
Oh gosh, I would say Cabo San Lucas was
Stop.
absolutely stunning.
What? Are you
Yeah,
serious?
yeah. It was stunning. It was absolute, but Puerto Rico is like up, I don't know, they're all anything that has like the ocean and like, oh God, now I'm like thinking maybe it's Puerto Rico because we were in the jungle in Puerto Rico and cliff diving off of a waterfall, like that was insane. Um, so yeah, ooh, but Cabo, Cabo was Cabo. Cabo was gorgeous.
So I see the reason why I said that is because Cabo San Lucas is also mine. My favorite trip. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I said. Yes, I went out there with some friends many moons ago, but it was
Yeah.
a good time. My second one is Jamaica because I recently just came
Oh,
back from a cruise
wow.
about maybe almost 2 months ago. It was my dad
Yeah.
and we went on a cruise, went to Jamaica. That was beautiful.
Oh, I bet. Oh, Jamaica's on my list. I want to go see Jamaica so bad. But Cabo, yeah. I remember we went on a boat to those, that the arches in
Yep,
Cabo
yep.
and we saw the whales jumping out of the ocean.
Oh
I,
yeah,
I, I was like, I swore we were not even like 100 feet from it when it came out of the water, and all of our eyes, like we all froze because we're like, it's weird when you see these majestic animals like on TV
yep.
and on the computer or on a video, but to see it in front of you in its natural habitat is I
Right.
can't even describe it. It's surreal.
You have to be there. That's the only way I
Yeah,
can say it. You have to
yeah,
be there to envision
you
it.
do.
I
You
feel
do.
that. That's what's up. Now it may change, Laura, because next June I'm going to be going to Greece. So that
Oh
may
my God, I'm so jealous. Oh my God, that's like way top tier on my list. I'm so jealous. Oh my
well,
God.
listen. When you're a bachelor, you can kind of do these things, Laura. Because you don't really have much responsibility, but you're an amazing mother, wife. So I
Oh,
totally understand why you can't really do those things. But I will let you know
thank
what Greece
you.
is, because then again, you never know. Next year, you may go, so you may go there, you may go somewhere. So I will give you definitely some great recs, some great food stuff, and let you know how my trip is.
Oh, that would be amazing. I would love to hear about your trip to Greece. I'm so jealous. I want to go to Greece so bad.
Oh yeah, listen, it was a blessing. A good friend of mine now, Trisha Cara, who is going to be the host of it. I was talking to her. She said you should come, you should go. We're gonna have a good time. She actually was on. If you ever seen the show Deal or No Deal with Howie Mandel, uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So she was one of the ladies with the suitcases.
Oh my goodness. That is amazing.
Yep, yep. So her and I are pretty good friends now. She was actually on my podcast earlier too, and yeah, we've stayed in touch, and now we're going to be touring Greece with a bunch of singles, maybe a couple or two, but it's a bunch of singles. It's like a singles cruise. So
Oh, fun. That sounds like a really fun time.
yes, indeed. Now, Laura, I'm a sports person, so I got to
Of,
ask you a question. Okay,
of course.
favorite sport you like to watch on TV? Favorite sport you like to attend in person? They could be the same
Fo
sport.
Football and football.
Love it. I love it. Okay, you want my heart already. You already want my heart, but you just winning me over more and more. Let me guess. Favorite team is Minnesota Vikings.
Obviously, obviously.
Yeah.
And let me tell you real quick why. Okay. My dad, when he first came to America, he wanted to throw himself into like America culture to try to assimilate and get to know it. Football was the first sport he kind of grew to love. But my
Okay.
dad and my mom, they had six girls, right? Before they had my baby brothers, they had six girls. And so growing up, my dad had no boys to watch football with. And so he started having all of his daughters watch football with him. So we fell in love with football with my dad. So we'd watch football with my dad, and whenever he'd scream and cheer for a touchdown, he'd be like, ah, like, and he'd be like looking around, like, who do I cheer with? And so he'd just grab us, and we'd be like, seeing my dad so happy, we started to celebrate in those wins with him. And so now
Sure.
growing up, we're just Vikings football fans now. I mean, I want more than anything for a Super Bowl for me, but I want it more for my dad because he's been a long Vikings fan, like a long time Vikings fan, and I want it for him. And so now to transition from watching it as a young girl to now taking my dad to some of these Vikings games or going with our family, like you can't beat that. And I swear, Vikings fans are like the best fans. We know how to have a good time. Tailgating
Hmm.
is insane. And
Okay.
when we're in the stadium, if you've not been to US Bank, you need to go. But inside US Bank Stadium is it's gorgeous. The venue and the field is stunning.
Without
And
question.
and then the fans, just the energy in there, it's just you can't compare it to anything else.
No question. Definitely been in there. I went there. I want to say I've been there several times for high school sports because I had to cover
Yeah,
either the state game and stuff like that. So I
yeah.
love that arena. But I've been there for my Chargers. I'm a Chargers fan because
Okay.
I grew up in California, so San Diego
Yeah.
to be exact. And I went there for the Chargers Vikings game. And I'm planning on going to the Vikings Packers game. This is gonna
Oh,
be
that's a
coming up,
good one.
yeah, on the 29th. So I'm planning on doing that. So, I'm hoping that I can meet some good tailgaters out there. That'd be great. That'd be amazing.
That is a great game. I looked at tickets for that game. It's up there right now.
He's up to.
It's a high profile game because of the rivalry, but that would be a good game to go to attend.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Now my last of the favorites, as we talked about, I'm a foodie, you're a foodie. I need to know
Absolutely.
places in Minneapolis should I eat at? Now I know one of the places that I'm about to mention has definitely been one of my staples that I like to go to, and that's Raising Cane's.
Oh,
There's
yes.
no question. Every time I stop in Minneapolis, which will also be tonight, I'm gonna go there because I go there all the time and get some chicken. Tell me
Yeah.
some other places that you like as well.
Okay, so Bar La Grasse has probably some of the best Italian ever
Ooh,
in the
okay.
Twin Cities. Super good. I would say, oh my God, like a million restaurants I came to. If you want to try something new that has good ethnic Hmong food, Vinai or Diane's Place are two great places featuring amazing, just these humble like Hmong chefs that literally built these amazing restaurants in the Twin Cities from just the hard work and dedication. So we talk
Yeah,
about those humble stories of you growing up with not a lot and turning that into something so amazing. Those two
right.
chefs are definitely proof of that. Um, I was gonna say, oh God, there's like a million restaurants I just love. I ate at Free House, which is a super fun brunch spot. So if you're talking about yummy,
Oh
like
yeah,
oh yeah, any kind of any dishes with any kind of breakfast joint dishes, Monte Cristo sandwiches, or really good just brunch breakfast type vibes. That's a really fun spot to go to as well.
okay.
W.A. Frost is an amazing steakhouse. It's more intimate. It's really good. 112 Eatery. Oh my God. I mean,
I
the
heard
list
about
goes
that
on.
one. I definitely heard about 112 Eatery. I heard about
Yeah,
that for sure.
that's
Um,
really good too.
I'm a
Oh
huge
my God, there's
carnivore.
just so much.
I'm a
Huh?
huge I'm a huge carnivore type of person. So
Oh yeah.
I love steak, ribs, all that. But the breakfast spot I'm very intrigued about because I'm a huge Belgian waffle person and I like
Oh
oatmeal as
yeah.
well. So I definitely want to do that. But obviously, the next time I come down there and I have some time, I'm gonna have to say what's up to you, Laura, and then I'll go.
Yeah, that'd be so fun. And
Yeah.
there's oh my God, there's St. Paul has amazing restaurants. Um, Minneapolis has amazing restaurants, and all the Twin Cities suburbs, there's like so many amazing restaurants. X Smith has an amazing brunch spread. Like I'm
Mm,
talking about fresh salmon and all sorts of yummy um, vegetables and kind of cooked breakfasts. That's like a nice buffet spread, but it's really fancy, but
right.
affordable. And it's got
Mhm.
a gorgeous view of a lake, because Minnesota, land of 10,000 lakes. Anytime you can get a view of any of the lakes, it's stunning. Manny's Steakhouse, check that out if you're a big steak guy. Um,
Absolutely. Huge,
love, love,
huge
love
statement.
steak. Yeah.
I'm also do you know about pho? Pho as
Do
well.
I know about pho? Yes, I know about pho.
I'm sorry.
I know. Do I
I'm
love
sorry. I love me some pho. I love me some pho. I do.
I love that you love it. And it's becoming so mainstream now, which I love too.
Hmm.
But I grew up eating homemade pho. I make my own homemade pho. I love pho.
Mm.
Restaurants,
Okay.
and it's all about the broth. That's key. Obviously, every place is going to have the noodles and all the condiments, but when you have good, like I'm talking about beef bones, bone marrow that you've been stewing in a pot with all the aromatics and herbs, and you let that go for like hours and hours and hours, like this broth is key. And when I go to restaurants and I taste the broth, I know if it's a good pho place or not so good pho place.
I'm
Um,
with you on that. I'm with you. I'm sorry for the silly question. I'm so sorry.
don't
You was like,
no.
I know it was great. I love your reaction because you was like, boy, pho. Of course I know about some pho.
No, it's not a silly question. It's just like I love both so much.
Got you. That's what's up. I love that. Let's talk about your day to day. As you know, being a journalist, your day to day always changes, right? It's never the same.
Absolutely.
You do different stories, do different things, and you also don't work conventional business hours, right? As you know, your
No.
schedule's 2 to 11. You work more of a sports schedule than a news morning schedule. But
Yeah.
talk to me about how you get ready for doing your schedule, looking for stories. Being able to be a reporter and an anchor, those are two different things. One, you're sitting at a desk, the other one, you're out in the field. So talk about getting ready for those two different positions and how you approach each day.
I was lucky because when I first started the business, I was going to start that weekend shift because when you start in the business, you're usually you humble yourself by saying I'm going to start at the bottom and I'm going to
Right.
work my way up.
Right.
When I got into the business, my boss was like, you know what? Instead of having you be our weekend reporter, we're going to move you Monday through Friday and give you that evening slot, which is a huge that would be the promotion. And that was a huge opportunity, but also the pressure was on because you needed those really strong lead stories for all the primetime newscasts. And
Sure.
so I got used to that 211 very early on. I've worked it now more than 15 years at 211 shift. I don't know how I would operate at a 9 to 5 job now and after working this long in my career that way. But I think one of the biggest things that I always remind myself is wherever I live, I'm a community member, meaning the stories that I tell, like impact me directly too, because I live in these communities. And I
Right.
always tell our reporters, like stories are all around us. We just have to pick up on it. So, and I'm a talker. So when I go to the grocery store, I talk to people that, are
I
still
love
at the,
it.
know what I'm saying? Like, oh God, this broccoli looks really good and it's on sale. And, so
Right.
you start
Right.
having those conversations and then something triggers, like they're like, I know, God, prices are so expensive nowadays. I can't even afford it. And boom, you have yourself a story because now you and somebody else, we're all dealing with the same type of
Absolutely.
stuff, which is the
Yep.
cost of eggs are expensive, cost of milk is insane. We start talking about those things. Now that's a story because that's going to impact families and their bottom line. And those are real life problems, real life stories. You go to, I take my kids to school and all of a sudden there's like construction around the school and you're like, what's going on there? All it is it's a little bit of curiosity and asking questions. And before you know it, they're like, oh yeah, that's construction because this thing broke and that thing broke and it's like 100 years old. And you're like, oh, the infrastructure at these elementary schools are getting old and outdated. That's why they're asking for referendums. That's why they're asking to raise taxes, and then you start doing a little research and you check in the school board. It's like, oh yeah, we're asking for $2.5 million to renovate all of these elementary buildings, and now you have another story. So I think
Right.
you just have to always, and at the end of the day, when you've done it long enough, you build a reputation, and your integrity is always like they're always watching how you carry yourself and how you tell your stories, right? How you are as a person outside of work. People think that no one's watching, but everyone's watching,
All the
and
time.
all the time. And so I feel like when they start to watch what you do and they respect and trust your kind of reputation and the work that you do because you deliver, um, you work so hard to
Hmm.
deliver the most accurate, informative, and honest and fair reports that you can. When people see that and they see that you're devoted and passionate and serious about it, then they trust you.
Right.
And then eventually you get fed stories. So they start wanting to only talk to you. You start getting the stories where you have people that want to tell you, hey, I'm really nervous to talk about this, but this is a big problem. And I want to tell you the story because I think you'll do it justice. When they start talking to you like that, you start to realize, okay, this community, these members trust me. And when they give you that trust, you don't take it lightly because now you have this huge responsibility to tell their story fairly and to justify why they trusted you to tell it in the first place. So for example, one of the stories that I did was, when you cover, like you said, beats and stuff like that, when you talk to these firefighters for other little stories, you start to build rapport, you start to build relationships, and you start to build your sources. They trust you, and before you know it, after a year or two, they're like, "Oh, Laura, I can just tell Laura the story. She'll get it done, right? And she'll do it.
Absolutely.
She'll do a good job doing it. She'll be fair." Well,
Yep.
then it took three firefighters who were really sick, and they came to me and they're like, "You know what, Laura, we got a problem." And I'm like, "What's up?" And they're like, "You know, we're not calling ourselves heroes, but like we work and put our lives on the line to save people, right?
Yeah.
But when you are in trouble, you call 911, and if you need us, we're there." And they're like, "But we have a problem within our system where we're getting sick and we're like dying from cancer. And there's no health benefits for us." And
Wow.
yeah, and they're questioning that we're getting cancer from the job, when I know it's because I wear the gear that goes into these houses with fires, and I come back, and no matter how much I shower, the toxins are just in my skin. I sweat it, and I sweat, and all of it just still sweats out of me. And
Sure.
then, and so I was like, that is, for one, scary, and for two, not okay. Like,
No, not at all.
you take care of us, we need to take care of you in return. And so when and these guys were like a little scared to come out and start, they didn't want to bash the industry. The thing was, they love their jobs. They just don't want to
Sure.
die. They just don't want to die from it, Like, who
Right.
wants to do their job knowing they're going to die? Like, no one wants that. And so when they start seeing colleagues and friends in the same industry dying from cancer, they're like, something's wrong. Something is not adding up. And
Right.
so I started looking into it. And then I realized our state health department in Minnesota at the time did not track cancer cases among firefighters. And I was like,
Hmm.
why is that? Like, why don't
Yeah,
we have a
that's odd.
tracking system? And the health department leaders were like, we don't know why we don't have that, but we are realizing that more and more cancer is being developed in our firefighters. So there is a link, there is a connection. And
Right.
so, so then I took their concerns, and the one thing we know that we have that gives us power that we can do that really sparks change, is for one, it's to talk about it, to share their stories, and to share it in
Absolutely.
a platform that can massively reach a lot of people, right?
Right.
Another thing is we need to get our lawmakers involved because that's the only way that we're going to spark change at that legislative level to change laws. And so I went to our local lawmakers and I brought those issues to their attention. Like, we have firefighters that are diagnosed with cancer at a rapid
Mhm.
rate. They're dying from it. what are we doing to protect them? And so
Right.
then lawmakers got involved because now they're agreeing that this is a problem. We need to protect our firefighters because they protect us. And so when I did my stories, it was a huge like investigation. It was a huge in-depth series. It was
Mhm.
several years in the making. Every year had several parts, and it took these firefighters being brave enough to share their stories and to trust me with their
Absolutely.
stories. Yeah, and
Yep.
so I took their stories, their voices to lawmakers. We took it to the state capitol. Then at the state capitol, change was going to be made. And then at the federal capitol in Congress, we had Minnesota senators now taking it to build legislation. And now laws are in place to protect our firefighters. And
I
those are the
love it.
stories. Yeah, those are the stories that for me, like to know that I had a sliver of, an opportunity to share their stories. And these are guys that like I'm friends with. Like they've trusted me, like, and I unfortunately I lost two of my firefighters who I did stories on to cancer. They've passed away. And but when they did their funerals, I mean, they wanted me there. Um, be, at because they knew how much I cared, and also because in some ways they're like, you had a very big part in helping to make sure that his family has the protections and benefits that he deserves, and that those health bills for cancer doesn't fall on the family as it shouldn't, like the state needs to take care and communities need to take care of these men and women that protect us. And so yeah, it meant a lot to me to be invited. And but stories are all around us. And
Absolutely.
so we just have to we just have to see them.
Love it. No, I
Yeah.
love your transparency. I really do appreciate you sharing that. That's an amazing story. And like you said, it never would have been known had we not talked about it, had we not advocated about it, had you not
Yeah.
illustrated it, brought it to light. That's why we do what we do as storytellers, because we want to share these things. A lot of people are just uninformed. And it also helps us inform them as well. Because you're like, well, why the hell are they not having health benefits, but they're saving other people from their health? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't
Well, and
understand.
yeah, and the thing is when you think about cancer treatment, it's a long health process, it's expensive. So
Yeah,
it was a matter of just making sure that they were covered, that these visits that they got these cancers on the job, so they should have the same benefits to protect them like any kind of work comp would, if you get injured on the job, it's the same kind of
yeah,
protections.
right,
Law enforcement, if you get shot in the line of duty, you have all of these benefits to protect you. Firefighters needed that same kind of like overarching protection too. If you're getting cancer from the job, then you should be protected and your bills should be taken care of because it's not like you wanted that cancer because you
right.
wanted to do a job that was going to save someone's life. You wanted to be
Absolutely.
a servant in your community. It doesn't mean you want to sign up for cancer. So those things needed to be in place to protect our firefighters. But in our, like you asked about our day to day, my day to day is different every day. As you know, working in news too and working in sports,
Mhm.
and as a freelance journalist, you don't know what you're walking into every day because every day
Right.
can change. You might
Yes.
think you're coming in, I'm going to just cover this, this, and this. And before you know it, boom, you have a crash. Boom, you had this. A recent example was it was I don't know, probably the end of November, like a few weeks ago. We had our whole show and all of our stories ready to go. And like not even 30 minutes before 5 o'clock, we got a press release and a quick emergency press release saying that Duluth police found bodies at a house. And we're
Wow.
like, and so now you're switching gears. And then all of a sudden, within a matter of hours, it became bodies in one house to bodies in two houses. And now it's a murder suicide. And it's a devastating story in our community. The impacts are far reaching. And now that's our lead story for the night. And and all the other days in the days that followed, because every day was revealing new information as to what
Sure.
happened. So
I
yeah, every
feel
day
that.
is different. Yeah, it's hard to remember. Um, in news, it's hard to remember what day it is in the week because you're like, what day is it? And what did we cover yesterday? Because so much happens so quickly that you're like, oh yeah, that was Monday, or that was just yesterday. It felt like that was already
Right.
last. Yeah.
Right. No,
Yeah.
totally. I mean, when I worked full time, it was like that. It was like, whew, sometimes you just forget like what day it is because you're covering game after game after game, and story after
Yeah.
story. story, then there's no games, and you're doing 10 million things, and you're just trying to
Yeah.
turn them as quickly as possible. So, which is also one of the reasons why I went freelance, because now it kind of gives me a little bit of a break at times too. Because like, man, okay,
Yeah.
I don't have to cover anything today. Let me go substitute teach. Or if I have
Hmm.
my sales job and do sales, I can go do that. I don't always have to be in the limelight of just trying to cover something. But I still miss it, still love to do it, and that's why I'm doing it tonight later on. So, um, it's a great segue though, because I want to ask you now about mental health and work life balance. Now,
Yeah.
as you know, a lot of our colleagues, I've met some colleagues in my short time in this industry, they have faded out of journalism because of mental health and work life balance. Sometimes the work schedule gets to them. I always tell people when you start this business, you are at the bottom. You do have to work holidays. You do have to miss sometimes move away from the city that you live in. I know I have because
Yeah.
I don't have any family here in Minnesota, but I love doing what I love to do. So you have to make that sacrifice. I know with the mental health, it's being taken more seriously now, Laura, more than anything. So I would love to know, how do you balance your mental health, right? Being a wife, a mother to four amazing kids, also working that same schedule, doing stories, and you also have friends and family yourself. You need some Laura time too. So how do you manage your work life balance, but also maintain good mental health?
Oh man, absolutely. I think that's a great question. It's a very important question, especially in this day and age. I grew up with work ethic that my parents taught me, like you bust your ass, you for real, you work and you work hard.
Absolutely.
Um, And the only way you're going to reap any kind of rewards is if you work hard. And
Right.
so I was always just mentally, that was just taught. I was taught that. And I knew that when I took my first job, I took a huge pay cut. At that point, I had three babies making $9 an hour, and this was a job that I went to a 4-year college, got a college degree. Granted, it was a full ride, but I still had debt from living on campus, dorm expenses, things like that. So I took a huge pay cut leaving Minneapolis to go down to southern Minnesota to make
Right.
$9 an hour to do a job that sometimes was risky. I remember when I was chasing
Mhm.
storms, I went into a ditch and I was like, is this worth it? $9 an hour. What if I don't ever come home to my babies? Like it was a scary thing, but I loved what I did because the stories were so I just love storytelling so much that it was worth it for me. Um, but to balance that, to balance being a mom, it is exhausting. It is very difficult, but you have to want it all. So, like for me, I want a career that's mine. I
Right.
want something that fulfills my cup, it fulfills my heart, and telling stories is that passion for me.
Sure.
Um, but I also want to be a very present mom. When I got divorced, it destroyed my family and it broke my kids. It broke their hearts. It broke my heart. And I wanted to, at that point, like leave everything, like move away, leave the industry, start over. But I
Right.
felt like I needed to be the only way for me to stay whole. Sometimes the hardest thing in healing, you have to go through the pain. You have to go through it in order to get to the other side. Sometimes you want to go around it and think like, oh, if I just go around it and I kind of ignore it and run away from it,
Right.
I'll get over it. But you
Right.
just realize you can't. It'll always be there. So
Yep.
I needed to just, you know, bite the bullet and go through the pain to heal. And so
Right.
I kept trucking along doing my job because storytelling, it gave me comfort. And so it healed me in a sense when I threw myself into work. And then, but I also wanted to be a very present mom for my kids. Um, so then I started to make sure that I wasn't going to miss out on important moments because my kids, they needed their mom, because now being a single mom raising four kids, I don't ever want to miss these. I will never get these young years back. My kids will grow up to become human beings, and I'm of that is a humongous job. And one of my most important job is to be a mom who's present to help guide them to be good human beings in this world. And I wasn't going to take that for granted, no matter how much I loved my job. So I needed to balance like, okay, I love both things so much. How do I have both things? And it took having a really good employer, a really good support circle, amazing family members and friends who lifted me up when I was falling down. Um,
Sure.
and so my at that time when that all happened, my boss at the time was so supportive and he knew my value too. So he was like, "We don't want to lose you. So we
Right.
will do what we can to keep you and give you the tools you need to be a good anchor and reporter, but also a good mom." And
Absolutely.
that was a blessing. And so when I had so many opportunities to go take jobs in larger markets across the country, I stayed put in a small market in southern Minnesota because this was a job that not only valued me as an anchor and a reporter, but they
Mhm.
valued me as a person. Like they knew that me being a mom was going to make me the best version of myself to be what they wanted me to be, which was the best anchor and reporter for their station. And so for me to see that investment in me
Mhm.
and they valued me, I then gave them my commitment and my investment and my dedication. And that's why I was with them for 13 years. You know, I could have left a long time ago to go to big cities. I had opportunities in Atlanta and Birmingham and Chicago and Kansas City and opportunities in California, big cities.
Right.
And I stayed in Minnesota because this was an employer and a job that allowed me to do what I loved, which was a job that I loved, and it allowed me to be a present mom. Um,
Love it. I love it.
and so for mental health, it's important. You need to take moments for yourself. I work out, I run, in some days it's more just like a quiet moment to myself when my kids are off to school and I could do anything. I'm like, I'm staying right in my bed. I'm gonna just have an extra hour of sleep.
Mhm.
I'm gonna
Mhm.
literally, or when I come home from work, when you have that downtime where you need to come off of a long shift but you can't really fall asleep right away. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have some snacks and I'm gonna watch myself Netflix a little bit, watch some
Love
documentaries
it.
and do
Absolutely.
something that, you need to just for you to break away.
Mhm.
My kids are so amazing. They know that for me to be a present and happy mom, that means mom needs a few moments and a few, some weekends or some nights where she goes out with her girls and she can let her
Absolutely.
hair down and she can
Yeah.
go dance and sing and
Yes.
drink and eat good
You
food.
deserve that. You deserve that.
And my girls are like the best girls. They know how they are hype girls. They are like they cry with you, they laugh with you. They are like my ride or die. And when I need them, they come through, and vice versa. When they need me, I come through for them. And my family is amazing. So I was just very lucky to have amazing kids, an amazing employer at the time, amazing family structure, family dynamic, and friends and support circle to support me. But day to day now, I just have to remind myself that those things are the most important things in my life. So as long
Right.
as I can be as present as I can in all of those avenues of my life, then then I'll be okay. You
I
know?
love that. I
Yeah.
do. I really do. And listen, you gave some great answers, and obviously we got more to go. But I really love that answer. I really commend you for being
Mm.
a single mom and being something about working because I come from a single mom as well. My parents
Yeah.
divorced when I was 3 years old, and that was over 30 some plus years ago.
No, I'm
Um,
sorry to hear that. Yeah.
now obviously being an adult, I totally understand. My mom has
Yeah.
never remarried. My dad has, but so my
Yeah.
mom also took on the responsibility of adopting two boys because I'm the only child on her side. So I
Yeah.
commend any single mom that's doing this because she was working and we were all living in a one bedroom. As you know, obviously you just got to make ends meet, and
Oh, yeah.
she's the strongest woman I've ever met in my life, and
Oh,
there's nothing I wouldn't do for her at any time.
I
Because
love that.
I wouldn't be who I am without her for sure. It's the fact that I always show a lot of love and appreciation for mothers who just it's not easy doing what you do, and you
Oh
definitely
my
deserve
God, no.
your roses. You do, and I'm sure you've had help along the way. Don't get me wrong, but you deserve your roses, Laura, for being a woman that you are, for being a reporter anchor you are, for being the mother you are, because um, it's special. It's special to meet people like you. It just there's no
Oh,
other.
thank
So
you. That means a lot. Wow, that means a lot. Thank you.
no,
I You know what, and to give a nod to your mom too. I know I know the decisions she had to make too, because you come first. You were her baby. You come first. My babies come first for me. And every decision I make for my career, for my life, they are at the forefront of every decision. You know what I'm saying? And so when I took a job to come to Northern News Now in Duluth, it was only with their blessing and their understanding of the dynamic, and only if this company that I'm now with, if they understood that that was the number one priority for me. So
absolutely.
if they wanted me, they needed to make sure that that was my priority and that they understood that. Um, and so when you're able to do those things and have those opportunities where they value you in that way to give you both, that's when you know that you are in a place where you should be.
Absolutely. What kind of advice, Laura, would you give someone that maybe is an intern there? I know you have interns walking around
Oh
Northern
yeah.
News, or maybe somebody that's a postgraduate that's just graduating, or maybe there might be someone who's just intrigued. That might be a little seasoned in age, like myself.
Oh
Um,
God.
what kind of advice would you give that individual that wants to start in this journalism business?
Okay, I would say don't give up. If you are serious and you are 100% sure that this is what you want to do not give up. Work really, really hard because in life is nothing in life that means anything, that has any carries any value, comes easy. Nothing. If it comes easy, it's probably not going to give you that same sense of satisfaction or reward. When you work really hard for something and you get it, that feeling, you can't describe that. So when you work really hard, you will reap rewards. I promise you that. Um, Also, never be ashamed of who you are. Like for a long time, I was embarrassed. And when you were turned down because you were this color or that color, I was starting to think, oh my God, am I the wrong person for this job? Like, am I just not, will this ever work for me? And I remember when I had my daughters in college, I was so young. I was a young mom, and I felt like I was in a newsroom and everyone was single, out of high school, out of college, and they were like young, and I was this mom with two little babies. I'm like on stories, I'm like breastfeeding during story, like I had to take breaks to go breastfeed. Like I was
Sure.
like, am I crazy? I felt embarrassed that I was the only, I mean, I was the same age as them. I was 22 and
Right.
23, but I had already had three little babies at that point. And
Right.
and I wasn't ashamed, but I was embarrassed to like, because everyone was shocked. Like they're like, "What? You have three babies? Oh my God, you're only my age." And I'm like, "Yeah, I have three babies." But along the way, I realized it was those things about me that probably set me apart as well, because
Absolutely.
it allowed me to tell stories differently. It allowed me to see a perspective that was different. It allowed me to bring my own voice to the story and to the table, and to see a story in a different way because I saw it through the eyes of a mom. And so then to be Hmong and to be a minority and to have a seat at the table, like that means so much to me because I worked so hard to get here. Like so hard. I could have given up so many times and I wanted to so many times.
And
But like I said, you just got to keep going through and you got to keep going and keep going. Um and so for me, my advice is to just be proud of who you are. It's what makes you who you are. And you get to bring all of those things that's special about you to your stories, to the table, to events, to everything that you touch that you're passionate about. You're the only person that can tell it the way that you would tell it. So be proud of that. Be proud of your voice. Don't give up and work hard and be kind.
I love that. I do. The reason why, Laura, I do this podcast is really an A side and a B side. And what I try to tell people is the A side is what we do as storytellers, being an advocate for our community or pillars in our community, an advocate for the people, voice for the voiceless, for lack of a better
Yeah.
term. That's what we do because we love to do it. We love to be informative, but we love talking to people. We love doing different stories. We love learning about different things. But the
Yeah.
B side of it is the behind the scenes. Like right what we talked about, the holidays that you miss with family, the sacrifices that you have to make in this industry, like you've made, working all different kind of times, working all different kind of shifts, moving to different places.
Mhm.
Sometimes they people get a misconception, especially kids that graduate college right out of college. Oh, I want to be famous, the glitz and the glamour. I want to be in front of
Oh my God. Yeah.
they see you like, wow, look at Laura Lee in front of the camera, very beautiful. She's going to give us the 411 about stories in our community. She must got it made. She must have a makeup team. She must have this or that. They
Mm-mm.
don't know the behind the scenes that you have to do, and no one does unless you talk
Mm.
about it, right? So
Yeah.
this is the reason why I like having this podcast and talking to different journalists because they need to know everything that goes on the A and B side before you make a decision. It's a beautiful industry to be in. Don't get me wrong. But if you don't know what you're getting into and you have a misconception about it, you could be fooled. And then this might not be the
Absolutely.
industry for you.
Absolutely. And Chris, I think you touched on one of the most important things. No one knows what goes on in someone's life. Absolutely. No one knows that, right? And
Right,
so you have to just always be kind and know that someone else's story might, even though on TV it might look like they've got it all together,
right,
no one is immune to pain. No one is immune to heartbreak. No one is
right,
immune to divorce, health issues. No one is immune to all that. Those are all very much realistic parts of everyone's life. And so that is, you're absolutely right to know that, you know what, no matter what you decide to do in your career, know that it's going to take hard work and that that nothing comes easy. Like
right,
you have to put in the work for sure. And that everyone else that's gotten to where they are, put in the work. Nothing's ever just
absolutely.
handed to you. Yeah.
No doubt, no doubt. No, I always say no half-ass stepping in this industry.
No, none.
There's no none of that. You have to either be all in or all out. And if you're all out, that's okay. You can try something and pivot. That's okay. Many people have done that. But you just have to get in this for the right reasons. And that's one of the things I try to advocate. Two more things before I get to the next question, and that is
Yeah.
I try to tell people to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Uh-huh.
It's one of the main things that I try to do. And what I like to tell them is that there's going to be situations, there's going to be stories, there's going to be coworkers, there's going to be people in your life that you're going to find uncomfortable. But you have to turn that uncomfortable situation into a comfort. It allows you to deal with things that are hard. It also hardens your character, and it just allows you to be better as a journalist and as a person. So I always tell my young boys and girls that, and I always tell them to try everything too in this
Mhm.
field. When it comes to journalism, shoot, edit, write, radio, whatever, produce, whatever you want to do, try it all. You learn what
Yep.
you like, you learn what you don't like. You may be good at a lot of different things, but the industry is different now. They're looking for jack of all trades now, so you got to do
Mhm.
everything.
Yep.
So
You're
I
100% right.
always tell my young girls and boys that whenever I get a chance to substitute teach.
Well, good for you. And I love the fact that you're so, because I think mentorship is huge, because you're right. There's always someone who's helped us along the way, and now it's our turn to give back. You never forget that you have to give back and you have to help the next generation of learners because eventually, the people that we idolized and we like were our role models, they're now, let's say, retiring, and you hope that you can do a fourth of the quality of journalism that they do.
Absolutely, no
And and
doubt.
then and then along the way, you never realize that someone might be looking at you the same way, which is crazy. You never think that you're a role model, but then to have people say, "Oh my God, you're amazing. I look up to you." You're just like, "What?" Um,
Right,
but then now you have that responsibility to then turn back and teach and mentor as well. So I commend you for being a substitute teacher and working with our young learners. And you're right about having them learn all sorts of aspects of all of it because everything is about being very comprehensive now. You have to know how to edit, you have to know how to write, 100% you have to know how to write and shoot video and so it's good because people will develop what they really like and what they don't like. Um,
absolutely, no
yeah.
question. Laura, we've reached the point of the podcast now where we're going to do our interactive game called This or That. So, what that
Okay.
is that I'm throwing some things at you and you get to
Okay.
choose this or that. So, Laura, are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. So,
Okay.
which chicken place would you rather eat at? Popeyes or KFC?
Oh, Popeyes.
Oh, my goodness, girl, you on point like a period right now. I like
Mhm.
that.
My
We doing
tennis
it.
coach, yeah, my tennis coach introduced me to Popeyes, and we've been fans ever since.
Okay, now. Okay, you winning my heart even more. I love it. Here we go. Let's get it going. Barbecue on lemon pepper. Which sauce would you rather put on chicken wing?
Oh, I like barbecue.
Okay. Do you
Mhm.
like your wings wet or dry?
What?
Okay. Do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
Oh, bone in, 100%.
Do you like to get a little messy? Is what
Oh,
I'm hearing.
yeah, and I'm talking about I clean my dang chicken wing. I mean, I clean
Okay.
it to the bone.
Okay, now. Okay, give you a wet wipe and go to work. I like that. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't waste no meat. No, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I'm the same way. No question. Okay. These next four questions, Laura, have to do with music concerts you rather
Okay.
attend. So here we go.
Okay. Okay.
Which music concert would you rather go to? Would you rather see Brandy or Monica?
Ooh, that's a good one. Probably Brandy.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Which music concert would you rather go to? Chris Brown or Usher?
Oh God, you just hit me with all the 90s lovers. Oh man. Oh God.
Mm,
I
mm-hmm,
want to see Chris Brown dance, but I want Usher's music. I'll just
mm-hmm.
okay, if I had to pick, I'll do Usher. I'm a Usher, Usher.
I would have picked Usher too. Although I
Mhm.
love me some Breezy. Love me Breezy. Breezy's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Which music concert would you rather go to? Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
Oh, Kendrick, 100%.
Lord, damn it, girl, where have you been? I'm telling you, 'cause you on point. What is going on? I'm agreeing with everything you saying. Okay, I love it. Okay, here we
It's
go.
just the same vibe, same energy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Okay, here we go. Last music concert. Which music concert would you choose? Boys the Men or New Edition?
Oh my God, Boys to Men. I'm Ben and Me. Are you kidding me? I was a 90s
Absolutely.
baby. Like I grew up with that stuff. I had
You
posters of Boys to Men and 112 and all those. Oh yeah.
Jagged Edge.
Jagged
Yeah.
Edge,
Yep.
Keith
Yep.
Sweat. Oh yeah.
I'm a 90s
Hmm.
baby too. I'm rocking with you
Yeah.
now. Okay, here we go. That's what's up. You did pretty good on that. Here we go. Favorite sport? Or not favorite sport. Which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Oh, badminton. I did play badminton. We went to state. You know, we were regional winners.
Now you know I'm pretty good at badminton too now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at badminton too. I don't mean to toot my
Okay.
own horn, but you know, toot toot.
No, you
I'm
too.
here.
You toot away because badminton is a sport that not a lot of people really are familiar with, and but us short little Asian girls, that was the sport for us. We played badminton and we killed it. We were definitely a very strong team.
Well, as a man, I'm about 5'11", close to 6 feet. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of short for a guy. But badminton, badminton was my thing. So that's for
Oh,
sure.
such a good. I was a racket girl. Yes, I played tennis in the fall and badminton in spring. So
Okay,
definitely badminton. Hmm.
I'm with you on that. Favorite sport that you will watch on TV, or rather watch on TV, basketball or baseball?
Oh, basketball.
Okay, okay. Are you a
Hmm.
Timberwolves fan?
Oh, Wolves fan, yeah, Wolves for sure.
Okay.
But I do like players, like, you know, certain elite star players. So I kind of
Okay.
track their games. Although I'm a huge Wolves fan, I do like, like Giannis. I watch Giannis with the Bucks, or LeBron. You do have Curry. You do have your players you kind of keep watching, keep tabs on.
I'm with you. I'm a Lakers fan. Like I said, growing up in California in San
Of
Diego,
course.
we did not have a professional basketball team, so Lakers was the closest one because I wasn't rooting for the damn Clippers. That's for sure. Um, but even though
You
I
know,
like
they
the
plucked the
Clippers,
Lakers from Minnesota, right?
they did. They did. That's why
Yeah.
another reason why I like the Lakers. They did. St. Paul, Minneapolis Lakers. Let's bring it. Your history. I like that. That's what's up. Okay. So, do you like desserts?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Laura. So I'm going to throw four categories at you,
Okay.
and you get to choose
Okay.
one of these that you'll never eat again. Okay.
That I'll never eat again?
Never eat again.
Okay.
Here we go. The first one is candy. The next one is cookies. The next one is cake or pies. The last one is ice cream. Which one are you getting rid of that you'll never eat again?
Candy.
Damn it, girl. If I can give you an air high five, I certainly would. That's what I'm
There you
talking about.
go.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
There you
I love it. I love it. I would give her the candy too. I would. I really would. What's your favorite ice cream?
Oh God, I love coffee ice cream. I like just plain old good vanilla bean ice cream. I like plain really good vanilla, um, really good chocolate, like the kind
Okay.
of the one that's like chocolate fudge with everything. With
Hmm.
just yeah. And I also really like strawberry. Sometimes I just want plain old strawberry ice cream with fresh strawberries in it.
I'm a little weird, maybe, because I do love cookies and cream ice cream.
Oh, well, that's good too. Yeah.
Yeah, I love chocolate chip cookie though, but I don't like strawberry ice cream, but I like strawberry shakes.
Ooh, strawberry shakes are so good. So,
They're
so
very
good.
good. Yeah,
That's my daughter's favorite at Dairy Queen. It's always a good strawberry shake. It's so
yeah,
good.
pretty
Yeah.
good, pretty good. Okay, do
Yeah,
you like potato chips?
I do.
Okay, so this is the same format. I'm gonna throw
Oh,
four brands at you, and you got to get rid
okay.
of one of these that you'll never eat again.
Okay.
All right, here we go. First brand is Lay's. The second brand is Ruffles. The third brand is Doritos. The last brand is Pringles. Which one are you getting rid of that you'll never eat again?
God, there's some good ones. I'll never eat again. Okay, let's
Hmm.
see. I'll get rid of Pringles. I'll do Lay's, Ruffles, and Doritos.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely. I would have chose Pringles too. Now, are you a salt and vinegar person?
No, I'm not. But I
Girl.
like dill pickle. But I like dill pickle. I don't know why. I like dill pickle. It's got that salt and vinegar vibe to it, but it's got dill that kind of cuts that salt and vinegar.
Okay, so fun fact, I've never had a pickle.
You've never had dill pickle? Okay, first of all, tonight you're gonna need to buy yourself a bag of dill pickle. You need to get Old Dutch, dill pickle, and you will be like, you're gonna text me, you're gonna be like, Laura, thank you.
It could go the opposite way though, Lord. That text could go
True.
opposite.
That's true. It could. It
It
could. But if
could.
you like, do you like, I take it you like salt and vinegar?
No,
Oh, you don't. Okay, good, good, because I don't. But I do
no.
like dill pickle.
Okay. You know what?
That's my least favorite flavor is salt and vinegar.
Okay. How about this? How about the first time I try pickle, it'll be in your presence. So that way you can see my mannerism and you can see exactly what my face will look like and what it should look
Oh,
like.
oh, you first of all, you have to do it at the state fair where they have a
Okay.
pickle on a stick, like the biggest pickles. And you just eat a pickle on a stick at the state fair. Everything's on a stick at the Minnesota State Fair.
So I went there last year for
Yeah.
the first time. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was pretty fun. But every time I seem to go there, or every time that somebody goes there for the years I've been here, it's been soaking raining. It's been wet. For
Oh
Yeah, it's been raining on the day I've been going. So I'm hoping this next August I can go there and have a good because I love fair food. You ever had fried
Oh yeah.
Oreos?
Oh yes, I fried everything. I eat everything.
Okay, well, listen, I'm telling you, girl, we gonna be down. I'm telling you, that's what's up. I love that. That's what's up.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll go on a sunny day. We'll go on a sunny day because I promise you that it's fun and it's so when it's sunny though too, be prepared. It's packed. I mean, we're
yeah.
talking like millions people there, like hundreds of
You know,
thousands.
I'm probably gonna be even more concerned with the weather than the people. I'm actually gonna be excited to really go to the State Fair because again this year because I just want to go on a very good weather day. I don't want to go
Yeah,
when it's
you
muddy. I don't want to go when it's raining.
yeah.
And I love the fair. I love the food. I love the rides. But yeah, I just love. I'm a big kid at heart, so I love doing stuff like that for sure.
That's good. That's awesome.
Yes, indeed. The last one for this or that if
Okay.
they came to you and they said, Laura, you can only do one of these for the rest of your career, reporting or anchoring, which one are you choosing?
I would probably choose that I can only do for the rest of my life. I probably
Yeah,
still choose reporter.
I love it. I love it. Okay, okay. You did pretty good on this or that. You actually probably the first one that I vibe with every single answer. Because sometimes you be getting answers on these this or that, you be like, "What the hell are they talking about?" Like, like what? I don't understand. Like, before I'll give you an example. When I asked about the chips one, I threw out four brands, and they said no to all of them. And I was like,
What?
yeah, one of the guests did. They said no to all of them, and I was like, so what chips would you eat?
Eat.
They said kettle, corn, mesquite, barbecue, baked. I was like, that's too many damn names. I ain't got time for all that.
But I know which chips they're talking about because I eat that too. What did I tell you? I eat everything. I like everything. But
Yeah,
I know which one he or she is talking about.
I feel that. I told them the second worst chip ever made is salt and vinegar, and I told them
Yeah.
the first worst chip is Funyuns. Whoever still sells Funyuns in the store, I wish I could just smack them off the shelf and step on the bag. I wish I could and not get in trouble. I really do, because they
That
are.
is so funny. My little guy, my son who's 9, he loves Funyuns. I don't know why. I think for one, he likes to put the ring on a finger and he likes to eat it because it's fun that way.
You know.
I think that marketing sells. That's what sells, I think.
Yeah, and that would be very cute. It would be very adorable to see him do that. It really would at that particular age. So I would definitely not discourage him from eating Funyuns. Young man, eat as many Funyuns as you can because you pretty much will have it all. I don't think anybody else will grab that bag.
Well, all I know is that in my drawer at work, I always have hot Cheetos, hot
Okay.
fries,
Mm,
and ramen. So I like always have spicy things in my and can I have candy too because my our reporters they sometimes they I remember we all have reporters at one point running all around every day and sometimes you don't get a chance to eat dinner. So I'm always
absolutely.
like, so they're like, Laura, can we have snacks from your drawer? I'm like, yeah, just go in and get whatever you need. They're like, oh, I'm coughing today. Can I have tea? So yeah, they dub me the OG. I'm like the mom in the room.
I love that. I do. Okay. Now, if it wasn't reporting or anchoring
Mhm.
or journalism that was your career, what career path would you have chosen to do and why?
So if it wasn't okay, so I definitely want to author one book or a few books in my lifetime. But if I had to choose a different career, I'd be a teacher.
I can see that. I would bring you an apple every day. I really would.
Oh, that
That
is
would be
so
amazing.
sweet.
That is amazing. That is awesome. No, I really could see that. You're a great advocator. I think
Oh,
that you would be someone that would be passionate, someone that's caring. I don't know what you would do as far as elementary or adolescent, but I think you would be great in any grade of teaching.
yeah. I
Which one
think I
would
would
you?
either elementary grade, like second, third grade, or I'd be a professor at a college.
Okay, I like that. That's pretty awesome. I
Yeah.
think I would do theater myself.
I could see that about you. You have that
Yeah,
very charming personality. I could see you being very just well received on a stage. You were very
I
natural to
appreciate that.
watch.
I
Yeah.
do. I do appreciate that. I acted in two plays in high school, which was Les Miserables and
Wow.
School Musical. So I love musicals. I do.
I love that.
I'm huge into that. So if it wasn't sports and reporting, it would definitely be acting. And I also love teaching as well. But I definitely love theater because you could just be someone else. I'm Chris every day, so it's great to act
Yeah.
like a character and be something different and portray that, and see the range of different emotions that you could bring on the stage. So I
I
love it.
can see that about you. Like I said, I could see your range on a stage for sure.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Let me ask you about a top four.
Okay.
And a top four of bucket list of stories that you would
Okay.
like to do in your career that you haven't done. I'll give you an example for me. One is the Super Bowl, being
Yeah.
a sports reporter. Two would be a national championship game, football or basketball.
Yeah.
Three would be the NBA Finals because I'm a huge basketball buff. And my last one would probably be the Olympics because the Olympics is coming here in Los Angeles in 28. Obviously, that's my hometown state. That would be a dream come true to be there somehow, some way.
That would be
Um,
insane.
yes, it would. What is the top four for you?
I'd probably want to sit down like a one-on-one with the president.
Okay.
I'd love to do a story that takes me overseas to foreign warfare, understanding the citizens who who live and witness and survive war. My
Mhm.
parents are they experienced that. So to have been the reporter in that lifetime to interview them during the Vietnam War would have been insane because I hear my mom and dad's stories and it's they could sell books. So to be able to be a reporter on the ground in a foreign country during wars, that would be an incredible experience, I think, for me. A one-on-one with the president, like I said. I would probably love to cover the Super Bowl as well. And
Mm.
then the fourth story.
Could you see yourself doing a red carpet? Maybe something for like a music, like Grammys or a movie premiere.
100%,
Okay.
100% for sure. Or I'd love to cover like fashion in Paris during Paris Week or something
I
on the
could
red carpet.
totally see you doing that because if anybody follows you on Instagram, you definitely have some fits that are definitely like,
Oh, you're so
yeah.
sweet. Thank you.
I can
You're
definitely see. I didn't even think about fashion. I really didn't. But now that I see it, if they follow you on that, they would know. They would definitely know for
Oh,
sure.
you're so sweet. I don't know. I'm just this old mom. I don't know.
Here you go. Okay. I love that. I love that. Okay. What is some advice, Laura, that someone has gave you that you hold on dearly to? We talked about advice you would give, but what is some advice that someone has gave you that you hold on dearly to?
I think the biggest one was when I was at that journalism program camp thing. Um, I think there's moments in your life where you have self-doubt, where you wonder, like, you have that kind of um, where you just kind of doubt yourself, like you're like, am I good enough? Can I do this? And am I qualified enough? Um, and my mentor at the time was like, they were like, yeah, you are. The
Mm,
only person who is stopping you from doing anything that you want to do is you.
right.
So if you just knock yourself and the self-doubt that you have about yourself out of the way, like you're
Mhm.
going to be unstoppable. Because nothing anyone says about you is true because you know who you are, right? And people can have opinions and they can have thoughts about who you are, but as long as you're true to who you are and you know who you are, like there's nothing that can stop you. You're
I
the
love
only
that.
person that could stop you. Yeah.
That's what's up. I love that. I do.
Yeah.
Great advice. Great advice to hear. How special is it to work in your hometown state? I mean, and the reason why I ask that is because a lot of people, as we talked about, they have to move away, right? They go to
Hmm.
market start at the bottom, but you were born there, raised there in Minneapolis, still in Minneapolis, and worked all over Minneapolis. How special is it to be working in your hometown state? You know, when people see you, they just know who you are on the TV. When you come at the grocery store, they talk to you probably. Tell me how
Yeah.
special it is.
Well, it's always special to be home. It's always special to know that you're surrounded by your people, your community. I mean, these are the places that you grew up in, you know? So when you know these neighborhoods, you know these communities, you know the restaurants, you know the people, you know the lawmakers, and also to have your family and your friends and your support circle. I mean, that's when you thrive because it's like a safety net. You have the safety net always around you. Um, and and just to be like to be a hometown, homegrown person covering the stories and the issues that impact you directly, I think you become more invested and more passionate about it. Not to say that if you moved away, you weren't going to take that job seriously and put roots down and develop relationships and do that. You do, but you do have a sense like you're always thinking about home, So to be able to do what I love here in my home state has always been a privilege, and I don't take that for granted.
Absolutely. And you're amazing at doing it too. And
Thank you.
it goes a lot. You're welcome. It goes a lot to your hard work, your dedication, your passion. And it's always a blessing, right? To be at home, to be able to do it. But
Mhm.
it just goes to show you that obviously you've been in this industry for a while and you're just doing amazing things. And I just
Thank
hope that
you.
many people realize that. And I hope others reach out to you as well to be able to talk to you because you just are an abundance of great information and great advice. So, and I'm sure they
Thank
have, and I'm sure they'll continue to do so for sure.
thank you, Chris. I appreciate that.
No, you're welcome. We're getting towards the end of the podcast now, so I want to
Mhm.
do some rapid fire. Okay, so the first thing,
Okay.
Laura, that comes
Okay.
up in your mind, you just go ahead and blurt it out with pride. Okay, so here we
Okay.
go. All right, burgers or tacos?
Burgers.
Okay, chicken or ribs?
Ooh. Oh, ribs.
Okay, I know that one hurt. I know it did.
I
Okay,
was
here we
like, well,
go.
it depends on what kind of chicken. If you're talking wings, probably wings. But if you're talking just like breast meat, I want whatever ribs.
I feel you on that, girl. I feel you on that. Okay, here we go. Pancakes or waffles?
Oh, pancakes.
Okay. Favorite color?
Ooh, blue.
Mm, hey, you wearing it? Looks good on you too. Here we go.
Thank you.
Favorite TV show?
Oh God, Friends, probably Friends.
Wow, that's a classic. I love that. I mind
Very much a classic.
Fresh Prince of Bel Air is mine, so that's
Oh,
what's
love Fresh Prince. Grew up on that too.
absolutely, absolutely okay. Favorite board game?
Oh man, oh, like I'd say chess is always a classic.
Okay, fun fact. I've never played chess.
What?
Yeah, yeah, never,
Oh,
never.
it's good. It's really good. It's like strategy.
I've
Um,
seen people play it, but I haven't played it like myself. Yeah, that's on the bucket list though, for sure.
yeah. And I mean, there's so many new board games nowadays too. Like I can't like Sequence is good, obviously
Mhm.
Monopoly, and there's even some like I love trivia too. So trivia games are like my jam.
Trivia is probably my favorite, and
Yeah.
every time I get the chance to go back home and visit moms or visit my dad up in New York, we definitely play a game of trivia with dad, Monopoly with my mom. She loves Monopoly.
Oh, I love Monopoly. My kids and I, we love Monopoly too.
She
Well,
loves it. So
hopefully you get to do both with your parents.
I hope so. I hope so. I'm hoping so. I seen my dad a couple months ago. I'm hopefully gonna see my mom very soon, for sure.
Good, good.
Mhm. Favorite alcoholic drink?
Oh God. Like whiskey probably, whiskey sevens.
Okay, now, all right. Let me find out. Okay, that's what's up. I'm a Hennessy person, so I love Hennessy. So that's
Yeah,
what it is.
Hennessy is definitely good. We just down the shots too sometimes.
Okay, girl. That's what's up. I like that. All right, here we go. Here we go. Favorite sandwich.
Like what kind of sandwich or like what sandwich joint or what?
Favorite
I'm
kind of
usually
sandwich.
I usually like some sort of like turkey or chicken avocado or turkey bacon. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm turkey, chicken, or steak. Either one of those for
Ooh,
sure.
a steak 100%. But
Yeah,
I like steak. I don't know if I really like steak in a sandwich because I like to taste my meat. Like I want steak.
I feel you on that. Okay,
Mhm.
here we go. If you had a choice to bring three people with you on vacation, plus you equaling four, where would you go and who would you take? Now you could take
And I
friends, family, or celebrities.
Oh wow. Oh God. I'd probably take my kids and we'd probably go to somewhere with a beach. They love the ocean too. Like they're like their mom.
Okay, I love that. I love that. If you had a choice to listen to three artists or three songs on repeat and never get tired of listening to them, who would those three artists or three songs be?
I like The Weeknd.
He's good. He's
He
good.
is good. I like Snoop too. I feel like I never get sick of him. And probably Beyonce.
I feel you on that. Did you listen to Snoop's new album, Missionary?
Yeah, some of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
With Dre, yeah, it's good. It's good.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty solid, and
I like
obviously,
his
we
old school. I think I like his old school stuff better.
yeah, Doggy Style is always going to be a classic for me, and
Classic, yeah.
that's the name of the album, folks. If you ever watch this, yeah, that's the name of the album. So want to let people know who do watch this. But yeah, and I also like The Weeknd too. Definitely Starboy. That album is on repeat all the time. For me.
Yeah.
I even like some
Yeah.
of his other stuff when he was talking
Y-
about like Diana and uh what's the older stuff? High for this. If you remember that, you remember High for this, the
I
song,
think so. I think
like
I
his
just like,
trilogy.
yeah, I just love his vibe. I love his chill vibe. Like sometimes songs, songs have vibes to them, and sometimes you're just in a mood and you're in a vibe, you just need certain music. Yeah.
Absolutely, he's definitely that. If they said that you have to only do one of these genres of reporting, which one would you choose out of the four? Would you
Okay.
choose weather? Would you choose sports? Would you choose news? Or would you choose music and entertainment?
News, 100%.
I feel you on that. If they told you, they said, look, Laura, We will allow you to play your favorite sport. What sport do you think you can dominate in?
Probably tennis.
Okay. What sport do you think that you would absolutely suck in?
Oh my God. I probably really suck. At I probably really suck at soccer.
I feel you on that. So I think I can dominate probably in basketball because that obviously I'm
Uh-huh.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Hockey would be the worst. I can't
Oh
skate worth a
yeah.
damn. I can't skate
Yeah.
worth a damn. I really can't. I can't skate on ice. I'm terrified of the ice. I'm terrified because I can't stop on skates. I'm trying to stop. I wear size 13 shoes. My feet is big. I'm like, come on, man. So,
I
yeah,
forgot hockey. Hockey would be hard. I would suck
it'd
at
be
that
hard.
too.
Absolutely. Laura, this has been a really, really dope conversation. I've learned about
Yeah,
your
so fun.
background, your beginnings, who you are growing up in Minneapolis, coming over working at the Twin Cities in production, then ABC 6, now to Northern News Now, covering all different kinds of stories, and even your time at St. Thomas. I love your transparency, opening up to me. I really do appreciate that. I do not take that for granted. You are amazing in more ways than one, and I'm sure I'm not
Oh.
the one that has ever said that. I'm sure I'm not. Um, Thank you so much for allocating your time to me here on my podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder. And my final question is always the same with every guest. Is there anything else you would like to add about yourself, the job, or anything at all before we conclude?
I think I'm just grateful. I'm just really grateful for everything. And I think you learn from all the bad as much as you learn from all the good. So I appreciate you. You are so comfortable to talk to, obviously. So I wish you all of the success. You've obviously done an amazing job with your podcast, have some really fun guests on as well. So thank you for having me on your podcast. And I wish you all the best. Go visit your mom. I'm sure she misses her baby. And have a great Christmas.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. And also, I did some research. You got a birthday coming up tomorrow. So I just want to say,
Oh, you're so
uh,
sweet.
just want
Oh,
to say, happy birthday to you. I'll probably send
thank
you a
you.
text. Well, but yes, happy birthday to you and Merry Christmas,
Thank
happy
you.
holidays to your family. We will definitely.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. Happy
No
holidays
problem.
to you too. Bye.